Hey guys, welcome back to Spooky Witches UK. Today I'm going to be talking about the events behind one of the most famous horror films on the planet, which is Amityville Horror. As most of you know, Amityville Horror was based on true events that took place, maybe slightly exaggerated in the film, but maybe not. Let's hear the story and find out. So, 30 miles outside of New York City, in the Long Island town of Amityville, on November 13th, 1974, it was the scene of a mass murder of the DeFeo family. So, using a 35 Marlin rifle, 23-year-old at the time Ronald J. DeFeo Jr. murdered his entire family whilst they were asleep, which included his parents and his 4 siblings. And then 13 months later, the Lutz family purchased the home at a drastically reduced price of $80,000, but it only lasted 28 days before leaving. The spine-tingling tales of paranormal activity are what propelled the legend of the Amityville Horror and spawned a torrent of books, documentaries, and films. So, this is what the Lutz family experienced, like paranormal activity-wise. So, the stepfather, George Lutz, had a history of dabbling in the occult, which is something you don't see on the film. So George was said to wake up at around 3:15 a.m. every morning, which is around the time that Ronald had carried out the murders. The Lutz family said they smelled strange odours, they see green slime oozing out of the walls and the keyholes, and they experienced cold spots in certain areas of the house, which is usually a good indicator of whether or not you're alone. I know I've had quite a few myself when it comes to hunting ghosts. When a priest came out to bless the house, he heard a voice scream, "Get out," and he told the Lutzes to never sleep in that particular room of the house. And other paranormal activity was a nearby garage door kept opening and closing, an invisible spirit knocking knives down in the kitchen, a pig-like creature with red eyes staring down at George and his son Daniel from a window. George was waking up to his wife Kathy levitating off the bed, and their sons Daniel and Christopher also levitating together in their beds. So obviously there's questions of or whether or not the claims are valid. So both George and Kathy took a lie detector to prove their innocence, and they passed. So the couple was bogged down in legal and financial issues, which prompted skeptics to believe they had motive to create a fantastical story to tell to the public, which you could think of other things to say, like, not that there's paranormal activity in your house, but it's a good seller. People love hearing about ghosts, whether they believe in them or not. Like, they love hearing about them. So their former lawyer, who was a man called William Webber, fell out with them over money issues, and he came out in 1979 claiming the 3 of them came up with the horror story over many bottles of wine. Son Daniel, who I'm going to guess is probably still alive, though oh right, yeah, he is. It says he lives a quiet life, and he claims the house ruined his life, and that he still suffers with nightmares to this day. And murderer Ron, who is still alive and serving 6 25-year life sentences in a correctional facility, claimed he heard voices urging him to kill his family, and he has since changed his story multiple times. Doesn't surprise me. But yeah, so the story went that he had heard these voices for quite a while telling him to kill his family. Excuse me a minute. Help me. So whether he heard these voices or not, or he just felt like killing his family, I don't know. It's one of them. It's, some people believe him, some people don't. I'm very inclined to believe that he probably was hearing something, but was that the reason he killed his family? Probably not. He claimed that there were voices in his head urging him to kill, and some believe that he was hearing evil spirits that reside within the house. But despite the infamous 1974 killings, numerous families have since moved in and out of the suburban home, and the purportedly paranormal occurrences that have happened here, spawning a slew of books and films, have kept tourists flocking to the house ever since. But that's the age-old question. Was he really under the control of evil spirits? Again, it's hard to say. It's a sad story. And the fact that he just woke up. Alright, calm down, Stiggy. Sorry, my dog's doing the Great Northern run around the living room. That's the age-old question. Was he really under control of evil spirits, or did he just decide one day that he was going to kill his siblings, kill his parents? His siblings were 18-year-old, 13-year-old, 12-year-old and 9-year-old. Now, I know in the movie, the little girl of the Lutz family, she sees the spirit of a little girl upstairs in her bedroom. Obviously, it's a shame. Alright, calm down. He confessed to his deeds, but his defence would later attempt to enter an insanity plea. Which, if he was hearing voices, maybe. Apparently, his father was abusive. His mother was very passive. She just allowed it to happen. And as a result of his troubled childhood, it led to substance abuse as an adult. So he lashed out at his father. And he even threatened him with a gun. The parents hoped that letting him live at home with a weekly stipend would help, because he barely held a job. On the day in question, DeFeo Jr. left work and went to a bar. He kept calling his home to no avail and complained to fellow patrons of the bar about it. He eventually left, only to return at 6:30 AM when he yelled, "You've got to help me, I think my mother and father are shot." They found them all dead in the beds, shot with a rifle at around 3:15 AM and positioned on their stomachs. No local reports of gunshots were logged, with only the DeFeo dog barking away. So, DeFeo Jr. actually changed his alibi several times, from claiming he was at the bar to a hitman killing his family while forcing him to watch. And then he eventually confessed that he gunned his family down and stood trial on the 14th of October 1975. It's a sad story. It is a very sad story. And if you've watched the movie, you'll know that it doesn't quite follow to a T, because I don't think that would have been right, to be fair. They have to make it dramatic because they need to sell it. But I do definitely recommend reading the books about it. Some of them are quite interesting. There's books about, there's one here, J. Anson 1977 book The Amityville Horror was based on these reported events and served as the foundation for the 1979 film of the same name, which was then remade in 2005. The book became a bestseller while the film grew into a classic, and legions of horror fans flocked to town. Anson's book used 45 hours of the family's recorded interviews as a basis, and one of the 3 Lutz children, Christopher, confirmed that the hauntings happened. However, he has also said the events were exaggerated by his stepfather. So, did these things actually happen? Were they exaggerated? Apparently, the stepfather actively tried to summon spirits and had financial motivation to tell his story to the media due to the family's severe debt. But this one here says the attorney the attorney has said that he spoke with J. Anson, the author of the book, and apparently they conjured it up while drinking, but in the previous article it says that it was the attorney and the Lutz family, the Lutz parents, so George Lutz and his wife Kathy, that came up with it. So you never know, maybe it was real, maybe it is real. If you ever have been to the house, let me know. Yeah, if you've been, let me know what it's like, let me know if you've got any pictures. I would love to know what it's like. People have been living in and out of it since the Lutz family upped and left. It most recently sold for $605,000 in 2017. As for the New Jersey home used for the 1979 Amityville's film exterior shots, it was put on the market in 2011 for $1.45 million and then dropped to $1.35 million. So yeah. If you've been to the house, let me know. That's the story of the Amityville Horror. It's a sad story. Because 6 people were shot and killed for no apparent reason, apart from the fact that evil spirits had told him to do it. So these poor people have lost out on their lives at the hands of somebody else, and it's sad. But yeah, that's the story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And next time I will be covering The Conjuring. So that one should be fun, because I really enjoy them films. So I will see you guys next time. Thank you for joining me. Stay spooky, witches. Bye.